everyone, my name is Elfa. Welcome to plummysims and welcome to another speed build. I hope you're all doing well and having such a beautiful day. So today we are building in Windenburg, and this time we're building another family home as expected. So actually this is my submission of the Sims 4 Medieval collab. So I've mentioned on my old videos, it's not that old actually, but like a month or two ago, that I have these huge projects and they had to be done around the same time. So actually we should have been post this like of the end of March if I'm not mistaken. And the other projects that I've mentioned so many times is the Easter Park. So back then I had two different projects that ongoing and the deadline is about the same. So it was very stressful for me, but eventually I finished them all before the deadline. And for this collab I decided to build a family home. I mean, I always build a family home or even a tiny home. Those two are my favorite type of build, and I decided to build a huge family home. So this house has 3 stories and it was really hard for me to figure out how the style should work. I mean, medieval is very strange for me. I've never learned anything medieval, and I did some research, like a bunch of research, and it took me around like 2 or 3 weeks to understand properly how the style should goes. And I was looking up on Pinterest and read some online journals and some articles. It drives me nuts because most of the times the actual reference pictures that I found was the like Tudor house. So it was really hard for me, but at the end I kind of like understood how it should goes because I read this article online. If I could find the link, I will put on the description box below if you're interested to read that. But they said that back then in the medieval era there was no such thing as like private toilet or private bathroom in your house. So you have to go to this kind of like I would say a community lot or public space around the town to just to do your business. And I thought that it was really crazy, but it is interesting as well. And like 2 or 3 years ago I visited Turkey and I went to this area called Ephesus, and it's like the ancient Rome sites, I would say. It is really gorgeous. I have to say it's one of my most favorite place that I've ever visited, and I gotta have this vision how to do this whole medieval thing because the Ephesus area is kind of like it's very medieval, I would say. And just by that I decided to build this. And actually I took a day off from my office just to do this whole medieval build, and I didn't regret it actually because it took me forever to finish this. I would say it's around like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 hours. So it was such a really long process, and after that I kind of went back and forth to this build and kind of like renovate a little bit, maybe add some decor or change the wallpaper. So it took me almost like 2 weeks to fully finish this whole build, and it was really frustrating, I have to admit that, but I really had some fun with this build because it's not something that I used to make or I used to build, and it's not really much my style, and it was really such a challenge for me. I've never done this type of build. I mean, yeah, I've built a Tudor house, but it's not like I've built that from scratch. I kind of renovated that a while back ago, like I don't know, maybe almost a year ago, and it's such a totally different process. So it was really fun to see this whole build come to life from scratch, because I have this whole Pinterest board that has this whole medieval or Tudor houses in the, like, I don't know, in the past. And I was like, had this vision how to build it, but I think it looks quite medieval. I mean, when this collab was announced on Instagram, I was really like, oh my god, this is going to be insane, because we don't have that many objects that represents medieval era. So it was such an intense challenge for me, but I decided to like participate, and we had this like discussion on the group how to visualize medieval era the best on The Sims. And we thought about this kind of an off-the-grid build and how the bathroom or plumbing should go, because we don't have that luxury back then in the medieval era. So it was very interesting to see how they came up with, and all of the participants on this collab had this beautiful, like incredibly amazing builds, and I really wish you could check them all. So the collaborator or the host of this challenge is Creative Simmer. I will link her Instagram account on the description box below, as well as the other simmers that participate on this collab. So we have about like 20-ish simmers. I think I could be totally wrong about the number, but I think it's around like 20-ish, and they are all amazing. I have to say that, because some of them showed their builds on the group and they left me speechless because they're so stunning, and I was kind of like insecure because it was really hard for me to figure out how this all should works. But at the end, it looks okay. I mean, my build looks fine. It looks alright, so I think we're okay with that. And I have to tell you that even though we are doing the landscaping right now, the terrain paints, but we have this issue where the landscaping or the terrain paints especially disappear instantly. So I think it's a glitch that has been going since, I don't know, like months ago. But at the end I was like, okay, I'll just left it like that, and I will paint the terrain paints later on when we're finished the build. So that's that. And actually I built this like a few days after we got the kits, so I decided to use some of decoration pieces from the country kitchen kit, and I really love that. I mean, I tried to make this house looks as medieval as possible, but back then I'm pretty sure we don't have the like fridge, because that's basically an electronic, so I'm not sure about that. But I tried to make this build as functional as possible, because I don't want you to feel like it's useless to play on this build because you don't have the fridge and the stoves and those kind of stuffs. So yeah, but the process of me making this build took like forever, but the editing process took forever as well, and it drives me nuts because it took me around 2 days to edit this video and the footage. You have no idea how stressful I was, because I had to cut several parts, like a bunch of parts where I like kind of figure out the floor plan and where I fix the platforms, because we built this with platforms, not the foundation. So everything just looks weird when you close off a room. So yeah, that's just a regular issue that we always got. But this whole build has I would say 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, if I'm not mistaken. I could be totally wrong about that. I'm terribly sorry, but if I miscount that, I will put the exact number on the screen right now because oh boy, it's been such a long time since I built this and I kinda like forgot what I did. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, actually, a few days ago, someone has asked me on Instagram, like she DM'd me. She asked me what kind of reshade did I use on my last video because she wants to play around with reshade and what kind of preset do I recommend. I had to say that although I have Reshade on my game, I mean, I put the Reshade software on my game, but I've never used that because one, it makes my game so laggy and it makes me have FPS dropped. So I don't want to use that, and I don't think my poor laptop could handle Reshade while recording, so I barely use that. And instead I use this color grading tools on Premiere. So I always edit my video on Premiere, Adobe Premiere. I love Adobe so much, even though it's very expensive, but I love the software, and we have the ability to customize how the color or the like visual you'd like to see. And I always do color grading on my software, so that's that. If you are wondering what kind of preset do I recommend, I have no idea because the only preset that I've used on my game was the Miss Lollipop Vibrance presets, if I'm not mistaken. I could be totally wrong about that, but it is such a beautiful preset, but I just don't like that preset on certain times. So I barely use that, and it is a bit hard to kind of like edit your photos. I always edit my screenshots on Lightroom, so I have these huge possibilities to change how the color should goes and the like vibe should looks like. So I barely use Reshade at all, and I wish I could understand how the preset should go, because one of my friend told me that it should be like this, it should be like that, and you have to like try it yourself so you could understand what each tool does. But I tried that and I still don't understand at all. So it's just my problem, it's not the Reshade fault, it's just mine. And because it makes my game so laggy, so I decided not to use that at all. Anyway, we're already on the third story right now, and at first I decided to make this house as an off-the-grid house, but it didn't look right because I really want to have the exterior parts to be like illuminate, if that makes any sense, and we don't have that many options for the off-the-grid lightings. So I decided to not using the off-the-grid lot rate and keep this like a regular house, but it looks quite off the grid. I mean, the interior has a bunch of candles, and I think it looks quite like an old house. And since we don't have the ability to put any TV or I don't know, like PC and laptops and those console or Xbox thing, I decided to put a bunch of skill building items on this build. So you have the table from Jungle Adventure, I totally forgot what it called, and we have the easel, we also have the Don't Wake the Llama game table, I think that's the correct name, I could be totally wrong though, but that's that. And every single bedroom on this house has their own fireplace except one like smaller bedroom on the second story. So yeah, that's that. But anyway, we are moving on to the exterior again and kind of like figuring out how the clutches should go. And after this, we just have to finishing up the landscaping a little bit, the terrain paints a bit, and I think that's it. So if you want to download this build, this has been up on the Sims 4 gallery. You could find it under my EAID, which is elfathiera, or under the hashtag plummysims. You could also click the link in the description box below that will bring you to the website gallery as well as the other link to grab the tray files from sim file share. So yeah, I really hope you did enjoy this video, and if you do, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Also make sure to be subscribed to the channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to ring the bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video. So please check out other participants on this collab, they're all amazing. I will link every single participants on the description box below and the host of this collab. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off right now. Thank you so much for joining me today and supporting my channel. Enjoy the rest of the screenshots, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!